So, hey, what you gonna do this weekend? You maybe wanna, I don't know, catch up.
I will reply to your inquiry with absolute precision. I'm going to study
Yeah.
for the examination.
Oh, okay.
I do not know the time for this appointment, but I will send you an electronic correspondence soon to inform you of my schedule.
Stop. Just stop. Emergency break.
What?
You sound like a text-to-speech engine. A really, really boring one. Reading a robot's diary.
But my response was grammatically and syntactically flawless.
Flawless.
Every verb tense was appropriate, and the sentence structure was optimized for clarity. What precisely was the error?
The error wasn't in the grammar, not at all. It was in the sound.
The sound.
Yeah, it
Holy-
lacked sociolinguistic appropriateness. When I asked what you gonna do, I was using, natural reduced speech, and you replied with this: high formality, maximum articulation, zero flow monster of a sentence.
So I answered a casual question with a business memo.
Exactly.
I see. It seems I was operating purely on what we call declarative knowledge.
Declarative what now?
Declarative knowledge. It's the conscious understanding of the rules of grammar. But I completely failed the test of, spontaneous real-world connection. I knew the rules, but I totally missed the music.
Exactly. The music, that's it. That music, those reductions, that flow, that's what makes English sound real, not like you're translating it in your head. And if you're listening to this deep dive, you've probably felt that frustration. Your English is technically perfect, but when you speak, it still sounds stiff, unnatural, or maybe just a little bit false.
And that feeling right there, that is the wall. It's the wall separating competence from real fluency. This deep dive is so critical because, getting to natural fluency means moving past just avoiding mistakes. We're trying to shift from mere accuracy to true communicative competence.
And that is our mission today. We are unlocking the secrets to natural, spontaneous speech. We are going to master the 3 essential things that will transform your speaking.
Lexical depth, functional pragmatics, and of course, prosodic accuracy.
Which is the rhythm and stress that really makes the language click into place.
Welcome back to English Podcast Voice, the place where we analyze complex language phenomena and help you learn English effectively.
And today, we're diving deep into the mess I just made with my robotic reply. I'm the learner here.
And I'm the expert, ready to guide us through it. But before we unpack this, please, just take a second and hit like and subscribe to English Podcast Voice right now.
Please do. It really helps.
We are committed to giving you the absolute fastest path to sounding like an authentic communicator,
Not a translation machine.
Exactly. Let's get into the reality check.
Okay, let's unpack this. A hard reality check. You said my reply sounded wrong in context. Why is that lack of, what did you call it? Sociolinguistic appropriateness?
Sociolinguistic appropriateness. Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know.
Why is it so jarring to a native speaker? I mean, the words were right.
It's fascinating, really. When someone hears you speak, their brain processes 2 things at once. The linguistic content, so what you said, and the acoustic delivery, which is how you said it. Natural fluency is language that's both contextually relevant and, this is the key, acoustically effortless.
And I was the opposite of effortless.
You were delivering casual content using a hyper-formal acoustic delivery. That mismatch, it breaks the unspoken contract of the conversation.
So if a native speaker heard me say, I'm going to study for the examination in the hallway, they wouldn't think, wow, perfect grammar.
No, not at all.
They'd think, is this person mad at me? Are they reading from a script? Why are they using so many syllables?
Precisely. You were operating on that declarative knowledge we mentioned. It's that conscious, slow, analytical understanding of the rules.
The textbook brain.
Exactly, the textbook brain. And that's where every learner starts, which is totally fine and necessary. But conversation. Well, conversation doesn't wait for your brain to consciously assemble all those rules piece by piece.
Okay, so how do we get out of the rule book? How do we get into that spontaneous speech?
The transition has to be toward procedural knowledge.
Procedural, okay.
Think of it like muscle memory, but for your mouth and your mind. When language becomes procedural, the cognitive load, the amount of brain power you're using just to talk it, it plummets.
I would love for that to plummet.
Right. So instead of spending, say, 80% of your energy just building a sentence, you spend 20%. And that frees up the other 80% to focus on the important stuff.
Like nuance and emotion and humor,
Yeah,
actual connection.
exactly.
That sounds amazing.
Oh,
But procedural fluency, that requires practice, right? Repetitive practice. You can't just wish for it.
oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
Repetition and high-frequency exposure are, well, they're indispensable. We're talking about training your brain to stop translating word for word from your native language,
And instead,
and instead to just retrieve these pre-assembled chunks of language. Think of a musician learning scales. They don't think about every single finger placement.
it just becomes automatic.
It becomes automatic.
Yeah.
And when your conversational responses become automatic, you stop translating. You
Yeah.
just speak.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the real challenge. So let's look at the big picture you mentioned before, the triadic model of communicative mastery.
Yes.
It sounds super important, and I suspect I failed on at least 2 of the 3 legs.
You did.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because we're going to fix it. Just think of this model as the 3 essential pillars that make language flow. If one is weak, your speech will sound off, even if it's technically accurate.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the first pillar?
The first one is lexical depth. This is way more than just knowing a bunch of vocabulary words.
Okay.
It's about having this deep reservoir of high-frequency phrases, collocations, words that naturally go together, and idioms, all ready for spontaneous use. We want to learn entire chunks as single units.
Right. So if I hear get the ball rolling, I shouldn't be thinking about a literal ball.
Exactly. You should instantly know it means start the process. If you have to stop and assemble an idiom word by word in your head, you've already lost the game. You've failed the lexical depth test.
And what's the second pillar?
The second is functional pragmatics. This is about moving beyond just knowing words to actually using language as a tool to get things done in the real world.
So it's about utility.
It's all about utility. It's the phrases that solve problems, manage conversations, get information, or just smoothly end a chat.
This sounds like focusing on situations instead of just, memorizing vocabulary lists. Like if I'm ordering coffee,
Yes.
I don't need the entire history of the coffee bean. I need, can I get a large latte? Or is there a decaf option?
Precisely. Functional English is all about those short, clear, high-utility phrases for specific scenarios, especially when you're under pressure, like traveling or in a negotiation. You map a context, like an airport, to a set of simple phrases you can recall instantly.
Okay, so lexical depth and functional pragmatics. What's the third leg? The one that made me sound like a monotone robot.
That would be prosodic accuracy. This is the rhythmic core of your speech. It covers rhythm, stress, and intonation.
The music.
It is the music, and it's so often overlooked in traditional learning, but it's probably the most vital part, because it's what conveys emotion, focus, and nuance. If your prosody is flat, the listener might completely miss your meaning, even with perfect words.
So it's not optional. It's absolutely essential for communication.
It is. Which brings us to the elephant in the room, connected speech and reductions. This is the absolute heart of why native speakers sound so fast and why learners really struggle with listening comprehension.
That's what I was getting at in the beginning. Why can't I catch every single word when people talk fast?
Because we are highly efficient, maybe even a little lazy. We prioritize speed and flow, so we reduce and combine sounds. We do not pronounce every single word clearly and separately. And this process of reduction and assimilation is, without a doubt, the single biggest barrier to listening comprehension for non-native speakers.
Okay, give me the acoustic transformation. I need to train my ear to hear the reduced sound and connect it back to the full sentence.
Let's take a textbook phrase. I am going to eat dinner later.
Okay.
Acoustically, in a real conversation, that transforms into I'm going to eat dinner later.
I'm gonna eat.
Right. The words going and to completely collapse into one single unstressed sound. Gonna. If your ear is only listening for the full written words, your brain wastes precious time searching for sounds that just weren't there.
I see the challenge. We're decoding sounds that don't match the spelling at all. This requires some serious auditory training.
It absolutely does, and this applies everywhere, even in simple greetings, which brings us to register switching.
So the difference between talking to my boss and talking to my best friend.
Exactly. A standard greeting like, how are you, is fine in both situations. It's neutral. But if you walk into your new CEO's office for the first time and say, what's up?
Ooh, yeah, that would be bad.
It would be very bad. You've just signaled a profound lack of sociolinguistic awareness. The words are correct, but the choice is a massive error.
So natural speech requires flexibility, knowing when to be formal and when to be casual.
That is the core challenge. You have to learn both sets of rules and, crucially, know exactly when to use each one.
I think I get the theory now. The only way to build that procedural fluency is to practice these high-utility chunks over and over. I am ready to stop translating and just start talking.
Excellent.
Let's get into the upgrade game and start building that muscle memory.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the upgrade game. We are officially moving from high theory to low reduction. We're focusing on the specific power phrases that will instantly make your speech sound more natural.
Perfect. And we're starting with the foundation of spoken fluency reductions. Just remember, these are strictly for conversational, informal English.
Got it. I'll give you a situation, you give me the textbook robot version, and then we deploy the real-life power phrase. Let's do a few examples for each one to really drill it in.
I am prepared for my transformation.
All right, game one, the reductions remix. First up, future plans. The situation is you're telling a colleague you're planning to organize the next team meeting. Robot version, go.
I am going to organize the next team meeting.
Too slow, too many syllables. The power phrase is gonna, as in going to, pronounced G-U-H-na.
Right. I'm going to organize the next team meeting. Wow, that feels so much faster to say.
It is, but here's where learners get tripped up. You mentioned a critical rule before. Gonna is for actions, not for locations. Why is that?
It's all about the phonology, the sounds. The reduction gonna specifically replaces going to when it's followed by a verb like organize or eat. It signals a future intention. But when to is a preposition that indicates a physical place, it needs to get its sound to signal that direction. If you say, I'm going to the store, it just sounds broken. The brain is waiting for a verb that never comes.
So it has to stay as I'm going to the store, fully pronounced. But for actions.
For actions, you should use gonna, for instance. You going to help me with this report?
Or, I think the weather's going to be great tomorrow.
Exactly. Or, she's going to call back after lunch.
That last one is a great example of the speed. She is going to call back versus she's going to call back. It's so much more efficient. Okay, next situation. Needing something. You're asking your roommate if they are interested in watching a movie later. Textbook version.
Do you want to watch a movie?
The power phrase is wanna, as in want to, pronounced W-A-H-na.
Do you want to watch a movie?
Now, a question I think a lot of learners have, doesn't using wanna and gonna all the time sound a little, I don't know, lazy or uneducated?
That's a really common and totally understandable concern. And the answer is no, not if you're using them in the right informal context. In fact, it's the opposite.
Just so.
Using them correctly signals sociolinguistic competence. It shows you know how to switch registers and speak like a native in a casual setting. If you only use them, yes, they can sound too informal. But never using them at all makes you sound like a robot. They're just part of the acoustic reality of English.
Okay, that's good to hear. Now let's talk about the wanna trap. Just like we can't use wanna before a noun, only before a verb. Break that down for us.
Right. The reduction wanna is a contraction of the verbal phrase want to. So if you're just talking about an object you desire, you have to use the full word want.
So I can't say, I want a new phone.
Correct.
Yeah.
That sounds wrong.
Oh.
You have to say, I want a new phone. You only use wanna right before another action word.
Okay, let's hear some correct examples.
Do you want to grab some coffee before class?
We don't want to miss the beginning of the film.
What do you want to do tonight?
Got it. Okay, moving on. Next up, obligation. You urgently need to leave a casual chat because you have to do something like pick up your kid or finish a project. Robot version.
I've got to go now. Or perhaps I have to leave immediately.
The power phrase Gotta, as in got to or have to, pronounced G-A-H-2.
I gotta go now. Yeah, this one is so useful. It just instantly signals that you have a real reason to leave. It conveys urgency.
And it's great because it covers both have to and got to. But what about that tricky grammar detail? When the subject is he, she, or it has to, sounds different, right?
Yes, this is a crucial detail for more advanced fluency.
Hmm.
For has to, the reduction sounds like hasta.
Oh.
H-I-stu. Shall just carries over.
Can you give us an example?
Of course. So you would say, I got to finish my report before 5.
Mm.
But you would say, she has to leave for her appointment right away.
Or the committee has to approve the new budget.
Exactly. That hasta sound is one that many learners miss completely when they're listening. They're waiting to hear has to, and they hear hasta, and it throws them off. You have to train your ear for it.
Let's throw in a few other quick reductions while we're at it.
Good idea. Like, forgive me.
Can you give me a ride home?
Or, for, I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
And let me.
Just let me check my calendar.
So the bottom line with reductions is, they aren't mistakes. They're efficiency tools. Master them for listening, and then start using them in your own informal speech.
Okay, reductions mastered. Moving on to game 2. Idioms, lexical shortcuts. This goes back to that first pillar you mentioned, lexical depth. Why are these so important?
Well, idioms are just. They're deeply rooted in the culture, they're non-literal, and they act like linguistic compression. Why use a 10-word sentence when a 3-word idiom says the exact same thing, but with more color?
So they're a bridge between just speaking the language and actually understanding the culture.
Precisely. If you can't recognize them, you'll get lost. And if you don't use them, your speech can sound a bit clinical, like a textbook.
So we need to learn them as whole chunks, not as individual words.
Exactly. Stored and retrieved as a single unit. Ready to play.
Ready. Round 1. Describing an easy task. You're talking about an assignment that was super simple to finish. Textbook phrase.
That task was very simple. It required almost no effort.
Boring. The power phrase is piece of cake.
A classic. It just means something was extremely easy to do. For example, don't worry about the presentation. Writing the slides was a piece of cake.
For him, solving complex math problems is a piece of cake.
Exactly.
Okay, round 2. Feeling sick. You didn't go to work, you felt unwell, but you don't want to get into the details. What do you say?
I was unwell, so I remained at home yesterday.
The power phrase. Under the weather.
This is such a useful and polite idiom. It just means you're feeling a bit sick.
So you could say, I think I ate something bad. I've been feeling under the weather all morning.
Perfect. Or she called in sick because her daughter was a bit under the weather.
Round 3. Taking shortcuts. You're warning a colleague not to do a sloppy job just to save time or money.
Do not perform this task without proper thoroughness just to save time.
Ouch. The power phrase. Cut corners.
Right. To do something poorly or cheaply. This is essential vocabulary for work and life in general.
So you could say, if you cut corners on the foundation, the whole building will have problems later.
Exactly. Or, we can't afford to cut corners on customer safety, even if it costs more.
These idioms add so much flavor. What about one for, say, when a plan fails?
Oh, a great one is fell through. You'd say, the deal we were working on suddenly fell through at the last minute.
And what if we start a project really well?
You could say, you hit the ground running. Like, the new manager just started last week and she has already hit the ground running.
Okay, I think the key here is realizing that natural language is often figurative. If you take every word literally, you're going to miss the meaning a lot of the time.
100%.
All right, on to our final game. Functional grace, polite, and smooth endings. This is all about that functional pragmatics pillar.
Right. Using those quick, high-utility phrases to manage interactions gracefully. This is all about speed and appropriateness when you're under a bit of pressure.
Okay, round 1. Polite request. You need to borrow a classmate's notes, but you don't want to sound too demanding. Textbook version.
I want to borrow your notes. May I borrow your notes?
A bit too direct. The power phrase. I was wondering if...
Yes. The gold standard for polite, indirect questions. It just softens the request and allows the other person to say no without feeling awkward. It's a fantastic conversational tool.
And there's a little grammar trick here, right? You mentioned that after "I was wondering if," the next verb often goes into the past tense.
Yes, that's right. Using the past tense like could or wanted makes the request even softer, more hypothetical. It distances you from the demand.
So instead of "I was wondering if you can help me,"
You'd say, I was wondering if you could help me with this.
and instead of "if you want to come," it's "I if you wanted to come to the party."
Exactly. Or, I was wondering if you had those notes from yesterday's lecture. That little detail is what separates a proficient speaker from a truly natural one.
Love that. Okay, round two. Agreeing to a plan. A friend suggests meeting at a specific time and place, say 3 p.m. at the library. How do you agree?
That suggestion is suitable for my calendar and availability.
The paraphrase is, "that works for me."
Yes. This is specifically for confirming concrete plans, times, dates, locations. It's practical and super concise.
It's different from just a general agreement, right? Like if someone suggests watching a movie, I might say, "sounds good."
Right. Sounds good is for general ideas. That works for me is for specific arrangements.
So, 3 o'clock at the cafe. Yep, that works for me.
Perfect.
Final round. Saying goodbye casually, you're leaving a friend on the street, or ending a friendly phone call.
I wish for you to have a good day.
The power phrase! Have a good one.
The ultimate casual, friendly goodbye. One is just a placeholder for day, night, weekend, whatever it is.
It was great catching up. Have a good one.
Or when you're leaving a store, thanks for the help. Have a good one.
These functional phrases really are where the rubber meets the road. And as you said, this is so critical for situational English, like when you're traveling.
We have to talk about the travel scenario. It is the perfect example of needing rapid recall under pressure. Think about checking into a hotel. You can't be standing there translating in your head.
Right, you need automatic phrases. Give us a few high utility ones for a hotel check-in.
Okay, they have to be spontaneous. So, I have a reservation under the name.
Clear and simple.
Could I please get a room with a view? That's a polite request.
Is breakfast included with the room?
A direct question about services. And if there's a problem, the air conditioning isn't working. Could someone take a look?
Notice how all of those are simple and focused on a specific task. We're not worried about complex grammar. We're focused on effective communication. That's procedural fluency right there.
We have seriously upgraded your conversational software. You've got reductions, idioms, functional phrases.
Uh-oh.
But, and this is a big but, this new flexibility comes with a warning label.
Oh.
Welcome to the danger zone.
I get it. Using all this cool natural language in the wrong context can actually be worse than sounding like a robot. So what's the number one trap?
Trap 1. Reductions in writing. This is completely non-negotiable. Reductions like gonna, wanna, dunno. There are phonetic shorthand for speech. They should never, ever appear in formal writing.
Not in academic reports, not in professional emails.
Never. Even if I'm writing to a friendly colleague, I should write out, do you want to check the files?
Yeah.
Not, do you want to check the files?
Okay, got it. Unless you're maybe writing dialogue in a story or texting a close friend.
Exactly. Formal writing is rigid and prescriptive. Speech is fluid and descriptive.
What about that classic mistake we started with? The formal-informal mix-up.
Trap 2. The formal-informal misstep. This is all about misjudging the social distance between you and the person you're talking to. If you're in an interview, giving a presentation, meeting a new client, your default setting should always be standard formal English.
So using a super casual greeting like, "Hey, how's it going?" would be an instant red flag in that setting.
It's an instant loss of credibility. It signals you don't understand the social rules of the situation. You stick to good morning or it's a pleasure to meet you. You let the other person lower the formality first. Always.
Makes sense. Okay, what about that sound I hear all the time in movies? The dropped G.
Ugh. Trap 3. G dropping.
They're super common.
That's especially American English. It's when the final G sound in ing words gets deleted. So trying becomes trying.
Waiting becomes waitin', walking becomes walkin'. I hear it constantly.
And recognizing it is critical for your listening comprehension. But using it in your own speech requires a little caution.
Why is that?
While it's very natural in casual settings, if you overuse it in a more formal conversation, it can sound overly informal or even regional, depending on who you're talking to.
So the rule is learn it to understand it, but be careful how much you use it yourself. And never, ever write it that way formally.
That is a perfect summary. Now, for the most subtle and maybe the most dangerous trap of all, the prosody trap. This is where your perfect grammar can completely crash and burn because of bad delivery.
Wait, so you're telling me my voice can completely change my meaning even if every single word is correct?
Absolutely, 100%. Remember, prosody, that's your stress, pitch, and rhythm, is what injects emotion and focus into your words. A monotone delivery or just stressing the wrong word can lead to total communication breakdown.
Okay, prove it. Give me an example.
Let's take one simple sentence. I didn't steal my friend's lunch money today. Depending on which word I stress, that sentence can have 5 completely different meanings.
Okay, let's hear it. Stress the first word.
I didn't steal my friend's lunch money today.
Meaning, someone else did, but not me. I'm denying my involvement.
Exactly. Now, what if I stress the negation? I did not steal my friend's lunch money today.
That's a much stronger denial, like you're really offended by the accusation.
Right. Now, what if I stress the object? I didn't steal my friend's lunch money today.
Oh, that implies you stole something else, maybe their homework, but not the money.
See, and finally, the time. I didn't steal my friend's lunch money today.
Which means you might have stolen it yesterday or last week, but not today. Wow, that's incredible.
One acoustic choice completely changes the meaning and even the legal implications of the statement. This proves prosody is not just decoration. It is fundamental to meaning.
And that's just stress. You also mentioned intonation.
Right, the rise and fall of your pitch.
Yeah.
If you ask, can you help me? With a flat, downward tone, it sounds like a demand. But with a rising, hopeful intonation, it sounds like a polite, genuine question.
So learners have to memorize not just the words, but the whole acoustic signature that goes with them. How do we even practice that?
The single most effective technique is shadowing.
Shadowing.
It's where you listen to a native speaker from a podcast, a news clip, anything authentic, and you repeat what they're saying, either at the same time or right after them. The key is to mimic their stress, their rhythm, their pitch exactly.
So you're training your mouth and your ear to internalize the music of the language almost before you even think about the words.
That is the perfect way to describe it, and you just have to be consistent. A little bit every day is way better than one long session a week. You listen, you shadow, you record yourself, and you compare. That feedback loop is how you escape the prosody trap.
This whole deep dive has really shown me that fluency is so much more than just passing a grammar test. It's about choice and flexibility and acoustics.
Okay, let's do a rapid-fire recap of our mission. We wanted to shift your English from just accurate to truly natural and spontaneous.
And we learned that means mastering the 3 pillars. Lexical depth, so idioms and chunks. Functional pragmatics are situational phrases. And prosodic accuracy, the music of the language.
We covered the essential power reductions for sounding fast and smooth. Gotta for obligation, wanna for desire, and that tricky one, hasta for has to.
We added some flavor with idioms like piece of cake for easy tasks and under the weather for when you're feeling sick.
And we gained that functional grace with phrases like, that works for me for making plans, and the super polite softener, I was wondering if.
But the challenge for everyone listening is that you have to actually produce this language. You have to use it for it to become automatic.
The transformation from accurate to natural speaking requires daily, consistent practice. You have to start seeing English not as a set of rules, but as a dynamic tool for connection.
Okay, so here's the dare. I am daring every single person listening right now to use 3 different reductions. Gonna, wanna, and gotta out loud today. Tell your dog, tell your plant, tell your friend. I gotta go now. I want to check that out later, and I'm gonna practice my shadowing.
That is an excellent practical challenge. Fluency is built on thousands of those tiny, spontaneous moments. Keep practicing active listening, Focus on the stress and pitch, and use authentic materials to bridge that gap between what you hear and what you know.
By doing all this, you move from just being a good student to being a natural, flexible, and articulate communicator.
And before you go, please remember to subscribe to English Podcast Voice for more deep dives into the real mechanics of the English language.
I'm feeling far less robotic now. Bye!
See you next time.